name is Chris LaBarbera, and I'm a lieutenant with Stewart Fire Rescue. Stewart Fire Rescue provides fire, EMS, and fire inspection services for the city of Stewart as well as the town of Sewell's Point. We average 7,000 calls a year between two stations. Now today, I'm going to talk about an acronym used at a lot of medical facilities and businesses about what you're supposed to do in the event of a fire. And that acronym is RACE and PASS. Now, what I have learned over many years of running fire drills at different facilities is a lot of people know the basic premise of what to do in the event of a fire. Try to extinguish it if they can. If they know there's an extinguisher nearby, we're going to try to get everybody out. And they kind of mix the order up of what's important, what we should do first, and then the full process. They kind of get bits and pieces of it. And then they don't necessarily understand the exact acronym and which one each means. So I'm going to break it down for you to make it very simple to apply to your workplace. Now this is for people who have policies that use RACE and PASS as their emergency plan in case of a fire. So we're going to talk about each one of those letters and we're going to break each one down. So for RACE, RACE is what you do in the event of a fire. And as you've seen in a lot of medical facilities, you'll see a placard on the wall that says RACE. A lot of times they're above a fire extinguisher. Some facilities have them near the exits or near your fire alarm pull stations. And so we're going to break each one of them down. R stands for rescue. Now I've learned a lot of people believe the rescue means to get everybody out of the building in the event of a fire. That's not the case. Rescue stands for removing anybody from immediate life threat. So rescue doesn't always happen. If the fire alarm randomly goes off in this building right now, I'm not going to rescue somebody immediately because I don't know where the fire's at. So if I'm on my way out to do my evacuation process and I find somebody who's near a room that is on fire and I see somebody on the ground, I'm going to try to grab them and immediately drag them out. So that is rescue, is getting somebody out of immediate life threat. Not evacuating the building, that's the E part of RACE. That's the last part. So rescue is most important, it's about life safety. So if somebody is down in a room where they are getting involved with smoke and fire, we're going to safely try to grab them and bring them out of that, and that is your R, rescue. The second part is A, alarm. Now for alarm, there are 3 different parts to alarm. So if you're in a medical facility that has Joint Commission accreditation, what they like for the very first part is for somebody to yell your emergency color code for fire, which is very common to be red, but you need to follow your policy and see what it is. So Joint Commission would like you to say code red and the location of the code red 3 times. So if it's a fire in the kitchen, you would say code red in the kitchen, code red in the kitchen, code red in the kitchen. You want to do this before you activate the fire alarm, which is the second part of alarm. The reason you want to do this is because after you activate the alarm, you're going to have a very loud audible noise going off. So it's going to be really hard to yell code red in the location of a fire. You want to know the location of the fire so you know which exit to use. If the fire's at a front lobby and somebody says code red in the front lobby, you shouldn't be going to the front lobby to exit because there's a fire there. So you're going to want to use the closest, safest exit. So again, alarm, the first part, yelling code red or fire and the location if you see it at least 3 times. The second part of the alarm will be activating a fire alarm pull station if your building has one. The third part of the alarm is after everybody's evacuated, or at least when a staff member gets outside and they safely can do so, they need to call 911 and let 911 know the type of emergency that you're having, whether anybody is still in the building or not. C on RACE. C stands for confine. Confine means we are going to close the doors. So if you're sitting in your office and the smoke detector activates, alarm goes off, what do? We're going to get up, we're going to take, if there's anybody else in that office with us, we're going to have them follow us right out. As we head out, the last person outside of that office is going to close the door. We want to try to limit the amount of oxygen that is given to the fire so we can limit the fire spread. So confining is closing the doors behind you. Now, some facilities do to where once a door is closed and a room has been completely evacuated, you want to put a small trash can or an item in front of that door signifying the room's been searched. When I run fire drills at facilities, we typically have a very short time frame to get everybody out. And in order to get everybody out in that quick time frame, I have them put a trash can in front of each door signifying the room's been searched. So that way you don't have multiple staff members going by, seeing a door, not being sure if it's been searched or not, and then searching it again. So once that you see something in front of the door, you know the room's been searched, you can move on to the next door. So that gets to our next part, which is evacuate. So evacuate, you're going to go ahead and get everybody outside of the structure. You're going to get them to your designated safe zone. You're going to do a roll call, not a head count. We don't do head counts anymore because, as you know, in today's day and age, when there's any type of event, we're going to have multiple bystanders pulling up, getting out of their vehicle and filming to get it on the next Facebook and World Star, and we don't want to do a head count and count one of those people. As well, when you do a roll call and you get the person who's missing, that can sometimes tell us where their office is or their bedroom is. So when the fire department gets there, you can say we're missing Mike Smith and his room is the second floor window on that side of the building, and that'll give us a better idea of where we need to go for our search. So that is your RACE acronym. The part we left off was the second E. So the last part of E, evacuate. The second part is extinguish. So extinguish is if the opportunity is there to do it, if you can safely do it and you have the right equipment and the right training. So the right equipment depends on the type of fire. We're going to use an ABC extinguisher as our demonstration. There are multiple different types of fires. We're going to go to the most common type you're going to see in your type of workplace, and this is your ABC extinguisher. So for pass, that stands for P, pull. What are we pulling? We're pulling the pin. So we have a pin on here. When that pin is in place, it stops us from accidentally bumping the handle and activating this extinguisher. So when you pull the pin, it allows you to then be able to squeeze the handle and activate the extinguisher. The second part is aim. What are we aiming at? We're aiming the nozzle, and we're aiming at the base of the fire. Something we all learned back when we went to school, base of the fire, base of the fire, but do we really know what the base of the fire is? It's very simple. Let's say this box is on fire. The flames might be 3 and 4 feet high. If you take a squirt gun and you squirt water into the flames, you're just going to go right through the flames. Water's not going to extinguish the fire. The base of the fire is the object that's creating the vapors that are burning. So this box itself would be the base of the fire. Even if the flames are 10 feet high, we're not hitting the flames. We're hitting the object that's creating the vapors, and we're trying to create a blanket over that object to stop the vapors from coming up and mixing with the oxygen. So the base of the fire is the object that's creating the vapors that are burning. Okay? So that is what we're aiming at. So we're going to pull the pin. We're going to aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. We're going to squeeze the handle, and we're going to sweep back and forth as we approach the object. Now, I highly recommend if you're going to do this, before you enter the room that the fire is at, even if it's a small fire, test the extinguisher right outside the room. You don't want to walk up into there and realize your extinguisher isn't working. So go ahead and test it before you walk in the room. Pull the pin, aim, squeeze, sweep. On the ground real quick, it's working. You're just going to do a quick blast and then walk into the room. You can go ahead and aim at the base of the fire, squeeze and sweep back and forth, and you want to use this entire extinguisher. You're using this like a blanket of sand on a campfire. You don't just throw a handful of sand on a campfire and expect it to go out. You want to smother the whole thing, and that's what you're doing with this. You're going to want to smother the whole object and use the whole thing. You already open it up, you're already spraying it, just go ahead and use the whole extinguisher, get the thing covered as much as you can. That is race and pass. Now remember, race and pass in the event of a fire. It's a race you don't want to lose. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.